Today's a big day for Replit users because they've just dropped a new customization that lets you give your AI agent superpowers around certain tasks. And we're going to talk about it. You ready? Let's go. Hey, it's Chris from Resend. All right, so what are these superpowers you can give your agents? Well, you can see here inside of Replit, I can go under settings and customization, and now I can create what's called a skill. Now, a lot of skills have kind of taken over the world, but you may not know exactly how they work. So basically, at the very basic, you simply have a markdown file like this with a name and a description and different instructions. Now, the power here really is that you give your agent superpowers around a certain specialized topic. It's not just enough to know that things exist that you can do. You have to have opinions on how those should be done, especially when it comes to development. So what we can do is come over here and just choose a file or folder and upload our Resend skills. Now, if you're not familiar with it, we do have an entire repository with a bunch of different skills. In fact, if I jump inside here, you'll see there's one for React email best practices, using the CLI with Resend. Resend itself as a platform. So all I've done is download this, in fact, as a zip and unzipped it in my downloads directory. So what I can do is come over here, we're just going to choose a folder, and I'm going to jump into the skills portion of that file. And let's first of all just add the Resend skill. This is for working with the Resend API. So that way it has everything it needs. So just like that, it's pulled in all the best practices, the references, the actual skill file as well. And so we can create that skill. Now, I'll probably also want to add React email because we'll need that as well. So I'm going to come over here. We'll do the same thing. Come back here, choose a folder, and then we'll go into React email and grab this one as well. So we're going to upload this, confirm that we want to do it, scroll down and create the skill. Now you can do this with any skills you want, but this gives us the ability to template out an email with React email and send and receive and do everything else we can do within Resend. Again, giving our agent the opinionated way that Resend would set up a flow like this within a product like Replit. All right, so now I've got these two things. All I need to do is prompt my agent. So I'm going to come back over here and I've got a prompt. So I'm just going to do prompt like this. And basically it just says, hey, build out a basic waitlist form page. It gives it some more instructions, tells it to use those skills, and we're going to let it go off and do its thing. Now, again, the real superpower here is that you're able to go beyond the kind of medium knowledge. When these LLMs are trained, they're trained on kind of the general knowledge that people have. What you want is a way to give your agent expert knowledge in a way that also preserves context. And that's what a skill file does. It allows you to say, let me steer the agent in a way that gives it the exact steps it needs in the right order. Right, and already here we can see the benefit. It already knows it needs some secrets configured, and it's presented these to me. So I need a Resend API key. I've grabbed that from my Resend account. I also need some kind of domain. So let's do contacts since this is a waitlist form. And so let's paste that in here. We also need the segment ID. So I can grab this from a segment that I want to add these contacts to. So I'll go to my audience. We're going to go to segments over here, and let's just use the waitlist one. That seems like as good as one as any. And I can go ahead and grab the URL, which by the way, you can do with Command K if you want to. I need the ID, which is in the URL, which I can grab right there as well if I want to. Okay, so back over here, let's paste that in. And finally, a topic ID. Now, topics allow you to scope sending based on your user's preferences, which is really important for deliverability. So I can come over here, I've got this waitlist topic. And in fact, let's go over here and just copy the ID right here. Okay, so back over here, let's copy this, paste this in, and continue. So by having these skills, it knows exactly what it needs within Resend, even knows to store those things as secrets. And all this is baked in by the skill and by Replit's own intelligence. So these two things combine to make a really powerful team. All right, just like that, in 4 minutes, it's finished everything. And now you can see it says something's coming, and I can just simply add in my email address. So let's do something like Chris plus Replit at resend.com. And I'll join the waitlist, and we'll just make sure that this actually worked. So you can see I get a toast notification saying it did, but the proof will be in the actual doing. So if I jump over to my audience, we'll look at contacts and look at this, Chris plus Replit. Now I also sent an email, so let's check that. All right, so just like that, you can see Chris plus Replit, and look at this, it actually sent this email. This looks pretty good, it tells me I'm on the list. And we got plain text, HTML, even insight, so I can see all the things that it's doing properly, like not using SVGs, for instance. That's something sometimes AI agents will do. Just because it looks good in your browser doesn't mean it'll actually render properly in email clients. Now I can also check my email inbox as well, but we've seen it already been delivered right here. So let me actually check the code itself, because that's what I'm interested in. So actually, let's look at the React email first. So here is the file. You can see it's actually done Tailwind for the config. and it's used like pixel-based preset, which is something you should do, and extended the theme, everything that we add as part of this skill to make sure it does it properly. Usually this doesn't happen without a skill. You also see that it's then added these things, even where appropriate. It's given it pixel details for the text, which is also something you should do. In email, it's just weird. You have to do on all of these text things, and it's done that because it understands, hey, each of these components needs their own styles to be baked in. So all this is exactly as we would do it if we were the ones writing it. You can even see we've got props. All this is baked in as well. All right, but let's also look to see how it architected the actual call. All right, so here's the waitlist.ts. You'll see it's added all these variables that we know we're going to need. And if you scroll down this way, it's going to add a contact where it's going to add them as unsubscribed to false, add them to the proper segment, opt them into the proper topic. All this doesn't always happen this smoothly without something like a skill. And this is what we've added here, is this intentional knowledge of how this is all done. Now you see, as you continue to go down here, it then creates this email, both HTML and text, and sends it along from address to the email that's been put in with the HTML and the text. Again, all this is kind of built in. Now it's even added something else, which is this idempotency key, which allows you to basically do retry logic. And whenever you retry, we double check that that email hasn't just been sent with the same payload in the last 24 hours. Sometimes this can happen if there's network issues or other things like that. So you want your dev tools to have all their dev expertise baked right into the tools where you're building, like Replit. What a cool experience to one-shot prompt your way to the exact way we would write your email backend if we were the ones writing your code with our SDKs. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions about using Resend within Replit, and we're happy to answer them. Catch you in the next one. Happy emailing.